My name is Hiroki, the smoker, Ogasawara. But don't worry, I can't smoke because my lighter was snatched by security force at Beijing airport on my way here. So I don't have any lighter. Yeah, I have to be really quick because I have only 15 minutes. By my gratitude to Monica, Lisa, and everyone here. The very precious and honored opportunity for me to be invited here. Thank you very much. Already a lot of things coming up in my mind since the morning. But I want to leave these issues later for further discussion time with everyone else. My topic here is very pitchy, sketchy description of what's going on in Japan. Now, I'm teaching sociology and cultural studies in Kobe University, the western part of Japan. I spend same time with Monica in Goldsmiths College, southeast of London. So one thing I have to say before I go, it was very amazing to see you, Monica, coming here to creating this kind of opportunity with plausible environment and a nice kind of atmosphere. I thought of good old days together in Goldsmiths because, Southeast London Goldsmiths is a dog shit filled place and a kind of promotion in a way, better way. And my academic and research biography can be found in the website Monica introduced this morning, so please have a look at it later. Right. A critique of online racism as a digital ritual in Japan. This is my topic. I'm going to talk about part of my ongoing research on the residuality of racist cultures, mainly in men's football in Japan. Well, this is a rugby football, Japan's team taking part in the World Cup. You can see many faces, obviously. New Zealanders with Maori background converted to Japanese citizenship, and half Nigerian, half Japanese player. He actually captained several times, national team. So the context of rugby is slightly different from other sports, football, baseball, and those things. It is easy for foreign-born players to be naturalized as a Japanese player. It's a regulation difference. While in Japanese society, anti-Korean and anti-Chinese and anti-indigenous populations against Ainu and Ryukyu people racisms have been predominantly prevailing, and in sports too. But the recent rise of black Japanese athletes requires us to obtain slightly different perspectives. Here, the list of famous black first-class athletes. Naomi Osaka, tennis player, who was the most competitive rival against the Williams sisters a few years back, if you remember her. Rui Hachimura, NBA player playing for Los Angeles Lakers. Sami Brown Hakim and Cambridge Asuka of men's short sprint. Footballer Zion Suzuki, there, goalkeeper. His transfer to Manchester United is recently rumored, and most recently Chima Fujita, middle one. He captained under 21 Japanese team. He was transferred to the German side, St. Pauli, this week. This situation causes a novelty in racist cultures in Japan, more resembling to British and European situations where black players still racially abused in a larger scale. Racist culture in the physical forms are full of rituals. From Nazi salute to monkey chant, offenders expose their bodies to public eyes. Then, in the worst scenario, they face to certain consequences, being specified as a responsible agent. Here in Japan, some chilling racist rituals. This is a flag carried by supporters of Gamba Osaka, Japanese professional football team, resembling Nazi SS flag. Next one, the banners carried out by Urawa Red supporter, one of the J-League team as well. It says Japanese only. Beyond this line, terraces must be occupied by Japanese only, no foreigners. Both incidents were reported heavily and criticized, but protagonists of these incidents claim, well, nothing deep. It's just a joking, or just a, Nazi symbol might be cool. Look at David Bowie. But they didn't think deeply enough how these consequences can affect people's mind, historicity, and memory. They're thinking about the rituals. Many anthropologists here, you might better know than me. But rituals temporarily suspend the gap between the forbidden and the permitted in civil society. They transcend the normalized code of conduct. But the concept of ritual, defined by many, mainly from anthropological points of view, is centralized the body behavior. Emile Durkheim, Victor Turner, Mary Douglas, Clifford Geertz, or Catherine Bell. But such as oath, incantation, or spoken mantra, speech acts can be considered as a bodily rituals, and words enunciated by the bodily rituals can be examined as having certain ritualistic effect. On the other hand, increasingly powerful online racism, non-materialistic, if you like, online racism is equipped with full strength of anonymity and non-physicality. It seems to enjoy as much effective rituals as physical bigotry. Among insulting words, abuse, name-calling, formulated expressions, I would suggest that the most frequent ritualistic presentation may be the claim of free speech, freedom of expression. Online racists often insist that they are merely exercising the right of free speech, not to attack someone, nor to get rid of his or her dignity. Making the excuse of this kind as epithet works as a firm ritual of recent racism in digital forms. What matters most is not those who know what they do, like motivated members of alt-right groups or extremely right-wing political organizations, but those who casually use bigoted language, then make excuse by claiming free speech. Think twice, at least twice. This is a remark made by the late Stuart Hall, who warned like this when talking about jokes and laughters about Nazi concentration camps. Guided by his remark, his words, I am now examining ways in which non-physical racist rituals are powerfully operating in digital world by drawing a few cases in football fandom in Japan. Then propose how to understand better and tackle them by sensitively standing firm against apparently innocent but actually absurd race thinking. Well, do you recognize even one of them? Maybe Naomi Osaka is the most famous player, and she's the only female player listed here, and she suffered slightly different abuse by Japanese fans as well. Other boys, male players, they never accused of being childish. This word is very important, childish. But on the court behavior of Naomi, when she wasn't playing well, she banged on tennis racket on the court. She kind of abused referees and umpires. She even cried in front of the public. The media reported, oh, look at these such childish behaviors. She needs to grow up. She needs to grow up. I think this is, a kind of unique and specific kind of intersectional gender and race and nationality conjuncture. Why she is always treated as a childish person rather than professional, proper athlete. I think this is a very important point in the perspective of gender perspective. Okay, let's go. Overt or latent online racism against ethnic minorities, sexual minorities, religious minorities like Islamophobia, and others whose social affiliations are recognized as different from the majority is increasingly conducted rather casually. Intended organized racism against the foreigners and ethnic minority players aside, individual tweets, SNS are the most dominant side of online racism. It's mainly committed by random and casual references to the outlook or the ethnic background of players. Two examples. Urawa supporter, a high school boy, 5 or 6 years ago, he tweeted, "You die, black man," against the black Brazilian striker Patrick of Gamba Osaka. Soon after it was revealed through SNS, both clubs and the JFA, Japanese Football Association, expressed their concern, repeated the usual condemnation, zero tolerance to any forms of discrimination. The player Patrick himself tweeted, "Very sad." Later, this high school student apologized in person to Patrick himself, according to his schoolmaster. It was, "You die, black man," in Japanese, "kokujin shine," "kokujin shine," "you die, black man." Many news reported this tweet without nuanced interpretation of words, decontextualizing when reported. More precisely, this black refers a very specific individual, not black population in general. Then die, shine, an instant slur, sometimes without meaning a real threatening expression. It's more like piss off, a very nuanced word. Shine doesn't necessarily mean I want you to die. Piss off. It is not his wish for Patrick to be literally dead. This combination of black and die is deadly interlocked as whatever intention the tweet meant. Obviously, the enunciation has to be understood as a racially motivated slur. However, in my view, it was more ritualistic speech act than serious intention to get rid of his dignity. Having said that, rituals should not be taken for granted as light motif. Customized, habitual, and often subconscious utterings could reinforce race thinking, not necessarily with overt racism. The more recent incident, 2 years ago, took place at the other side, Gamba Osaka. But this case was more weird. It was reported that a Gamba Osaka fan, gave a slander against the city's derby rival Cerezo Osaka and its fans. But it was not revealed and remained so as to exactly what was tweeted and which words and languages were used. No details at all. Not being specified in details about exactly what was said, what was thrown at the target as abuse, or what was done to it. News reports described it as a racial deformation and a bigoted expression, but never exposed exact wordings. This kind of ideological wrapping is rife, wrapping up the exact enunciation and then leaving vague spaces for us to guess and imagine what could be said. The reason for hiding exact words are explained as preventing the serialization of abuse by recycling the same words by others. It's a bit tricky. I think this is nonsense, a bad consequence of naive political correctness. But the claim for freedom of speech sometimes seems to justify this kind of racism. It is a negotiating conjuncture where racist utterings and behaviors are considered as freedom of expression without responsibility towards their abuse, and the counter-racism that brings the agenda of ways in which responsibility is achieved into an explicit debate. While irresistible ties of multiculturalism in Japan is inevitable and powerfully ongoing in our ordinary life, those ties also ignite generating barriers and walls against them. It is urgent, I suggest, that we must theorize ways in which this irresistibility is recognized, as well as lead this task to actual activities that endorse those currents. Just picking up from the website, this is, I wouldn't say convivial, but all those foreign background people are embedded already in Japanese societies, every four corners of Japanese societies. It is irresistible multicultural drift, I would call it. Thank you.